more time whispering, I'm waiting for you. My entire life, she lies so sweetly still, and my eyes gotta say, you're right, listen to words I'm in, your downward spiral. With every breath I breathe, your essence is so bright. You're my eternal sunshine. With you, you are my heart. With you, I fall apart, patiently waiting your embrace. I saw the light leaving your face. Dead inside, your soul is dead. Patiently waiting your embrace. I saw the light leaving your face. That I know will be again. Empty eyes, seeing nothing. Patiently waiting your embrace. I saw the light leaving your face. When inside, we're soon insanity. What I know, this way is ending. Wasting your conversation. When I was, we see nothing. You're my eternal sunshine. Climbing the downward spiral. You're my eternal sun, patiently waiting your embrace. Climbing the downward spiral, patiently waiting your embrace. I saw the light leaving your face, but I know you'll be again. Patiently waiting your embrace. I saw the light leaving your face. I know what's understand. Patiently waiting your embrace. My life will find a resting place.
So, hi, I'm Marcos. I am a weed or a cannabis connoisseur. I like to research and study cannabis. I work at the candy shop between Gulfport, Biloxi, Ocean Springs. Pretty much I'm here to shed the light and show a little bit more about the stigma that's behind our plant that, naturally grows around us. And it's been a part of my life for a long time for different reasons. Of course, when I first introduced to cannabis, I didn't know the cause of smoking for myself. I just kind of did it because I was cool, I guess, or whatever reason, like part of the stigma that normally is on cannabis. But then as I realized that I got older, I started realizing the chemicals and the study and the science and all the foundation that cannabis can go through. And it's just one simple little plant that starts from a seed. So I definitely wanted to knowledge myself about it, learn the causes and effects and things that definitely stand about against the stigmas for sure, to see where it would go and how such a little plant sheds so much help in so many different ways to different people. And it brings a full community in itself when you actually get through those gates and realize how open that this community is with the wonderful thing that grows. So right now, a lot of the cannabis products that's offered on the coast is going to be a hemp-derived cannabis product. And so really the difference between what you would find in a cannabis plant that is marijuana or cannabis plant that's hemp is the legality of what chemical makes the structure of what THC marijuana is. And that would be your delta-9 cannabinoid. That cannabinoid is the one that is recognized as a federal scale, and it is illegal to sell as of the United States. But as of like 2018, they passed the Farmer and Agriculture Act, which covers the mass production of hemp products, which is a cannabis plant that is below the legal limit standard of 0.3 or less delta-9 THC. So that's where you start getting your hemp lotions, your hemp products, and things like that in mass production, and CBD products and THC. So, a lot of people don't know the difference between like the CBD and THC in itself. And, CBD is the non-psychoactive component, as to the THC would be the psychoactive component that a lot of people find. So with the CBD, like I said, it helps with the well-being of yourself, how you are, anti-inflammation, just mood boosting and well-being, are pretty much what the medical industry stands for, the well-being of your body, physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. And that comes from this little plant, the chemicals, and that's just the non-psychoactive component itself. But as to like when we start entering the THC spectrum, and when we start talking about that part of cannabis, you do have like the new variants that have come out within the recent like legality of the hemp products. And, I like to tell people it's like a bunch of farmers and a bunch of scientists got together, figured out chemicals. And between the research that we have recently within 2018 to now, we've discovered over 150 different THC / components and CBD components in cannabis. So there's so many different cannabinoids, but the insult of like mainly for like the two that we're hearing now is the delta-8, delta-9. And the delta-8, the only really big difference between like the delta-8 to the delta-9 variant is that it is a CBD homology, so it's broken from or taken from CBD, and then it is hemp derived, so it reacts on the receptors in your brain that you have, which is your endocannabinoid system, and it has your CB1 receptor and your CB2 receptor, which are the two components in your body. One's for like your organs, nervous systems, your others are for like vitals and things like that. With delta-8, it reacts only on the one side receptors, as to like delta-9 reacts on the two receptors, which creates that more psychoactive effect. And that's mainly like the two that set apart the difference, is how they react to your cannabinoid receptors. But in the sense, they all offer the same properties of like anti-inflammation, like artery cloggage, the cancer growth inhibitor, like so it slows down cancer growth cells, it helps prevent bacterial growth in your body, and just people that suffer with like PTSD, insomnia, sleep issues can use THC in different forms, or even CBD, but THC is more commonly helpful due to how it reacts in your body. And a lot of times when I do encounter that, people do come in and they ask and they question like the hemp CBD or these CBD dispensaries that are currently open. And, I tell people like this is our foot in the door to the right direction. And that's kind of like the breaking point to try to get the conversation to start going. Because like I said, people don't think these products work. And the reason why people don't think these products work is because they are looking for that recreational or medical marijuana, or they're not willing to like get the knowledge to understand the product actually does work. But the way that I normally handle those situations is just honestly the best way possible, is just the truth and honest. And a lot of people don't want these products because they think it is just CBD, which is the non-psychoactive form, or they think that it's some sort of synthetic. And that's another stigma that a lot of people are afraid of. And it's not a synthetic because the fact that it comes from a cannabis plant, but it's just an alternative cannabis plant that follows under the certain guideline for the legal status. And usually, like, I tell them, like, I experienced it with myself, because personally, before I started working at the candy shop, I wouldn't catch myself into a shop that sold CBD products or Delta-8 products because my knowledge wasn't there. But when I saw, and when I was like tired of the food industry, I realized that I was done with the food industry, didn't know where I wanted to go. I ended up joining the candy shop, and then that's where my knowledge began to even have more growth and put me to where I needed to be as a connoisseur, because I did realize that these chemicals do make differences. I do realize that these things are here. So I was not a believer that these products work. So that relation in itself can usually help a person understand that, actually these products do work. And it just break down pretty much just the knowledge. And once you expose the truth and the knowledge about the product and make sure that people are aware, it's just word of mouth at that point. You give it to this person and they just, hey, this actually works. And it's just because that knowledge is lacking in some of these places. And there are also, for example, the people that they're like, oh, the gas station, I got it from the gas station, things like that. You also have to understand it's the same way that you would do on the streets. You know, you got to know your source, you got to know your people, you got to know the safety. And even like I tell people that if this stuff is like a mediocre, like middle kind of like area for you, if it don't get you where you want to be necessarily, at least at the end of the day, you know, it's safer because of the lab testing, the panels, because you don't know what's going on the streets anymore. And, you know, these people that are smoking flower on the streets or cannabis on the street, there's a chance that it's sprayed. It has pesticides and the growth hormones and things like that. So it's not even the plant that they're naturally occurring with the head high that they achieve. It's the chemicals that are developed in the plant as it grows. You know, growing up and me being like smoking casual whenever I was growing up, that, you know, you do have the issue and conflict on the street where you do get product from someone that you know, and that, you know, you enjoy the experience and you enjoy the effects that you get from that. But the next day, you're not going to have the same flower. You know, you're not going to have the same thing. You're going to have a different strand. And there's times, like, for example, people aren't getting connections, or they're not getting into a sense of where they're getting actual named strands. And for me, it's always been a safety net, you know. If you're going to do something, I'd rather do it in a safety matter. You know, I would much rather be able to walk into a store and make the choice of buying a joint or like some flour or something like that, as easy as it is to go get a pack of cigarettes, go get alcohol or things like that that have been proven to cause harm to you, that have been proven to have effects. You know, like every time you see around holidays, there's always a bunker up of officers and things like that because of DUIs and then intoxications and altercations. And that's the thing about like a dispensary to me, is that you can walk in there and you can get those options and you can choose and talk to someone. Because, you know, for example, someone who needs help with sleep as to someone who needs to fight anxiety, you know, a lot of people, for example, with the sativa and indica part, right? A lot of people don't even know that part of cannabis. And, you know, with my current, like, you know, job and everything that I've also discovered with research, and as I learn and as these laws and everything keeps developing, as the United States gets more lenient with cannabis because of the hemp products and things, that, you know, indicas and sativas really necessarily don't make a big difference in a sense for people, but it kind of does in a way because of the characteristics of what that plant offers. So like people that have high anxiety, they're more likely to lean away from sativas usually, because with sativas, they usually have like a higher THC preference and a lower CBD concentrate preference. And with the indicas, they usually have like a more well-balanced high with the THC and CBD ratio, because that CBD does counter the THC effect. So that's why a lot of people, like for example, I smoke for personal anxiety. I have social anxiety, a lot of situations like that, and I find myself that I enjoy flower for the aesthetic and the beauty of it and the aromas, the terpenes and things like that that come off of the flower. But, you know, in a sense, for like going into a dispensary, being able to choose what you want and your needs being met because you have options is more beneficial. Because, you know, with the legality, for example, medicinal marijuana is coming up in Mississippi, correct? And with that is they're only allowing, I believe, flower and edibles. So they're not even opening the they're not even opening the full spectrum for someone to have all those options. So they're still having limitations. But, you know, there are people that suffer with higher anxiety or higher PTSD or higher issues that need a more concentrated type of form of THC, as such as like concentrates or titrines and like distillants, because everyone has a different problem going on. Everyone has a different chemical structure. So it is more beneficial to be able to walk into a store and talk to someone that can describe what you need, or someone that understands what you're looking for, or that have the variance to be able to choose that, or even go back and forth to continuously get the same quality. So if you do enjoy a strand that you know that next week you can go back into your shop and more likely they're going to have the same flower. Of course, things can vary because of growing seasons and things, but usually they're always going to keep that same consistency for people. And, you know, you still got shops today that you walk into and they won't talk to you. They won't describe nothing to you. And, you know, what happens to those shops is that it's just you have misinformed information. So you have issues and conflicts of people that are taking broad spectrum CBD as to a full spectrum CBD failing drug test because someone's not teaching them. And then what does that happen? It puts a red flag, it puts a stigma back onto the plant that we're trying to unlock. So, and that's pretty much the good thing about having these people that are knowledgeable behind the counters, is because you need someone to help you, just as much. They're not necessarily doctors and they can't like tell you everything, but in a way they do heal and they do help. And it's for all spectrum of your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health, because people use cannabis for multiple reasons. And I think that's why it should be as easy as it is to go into a shop, to be able to talk to someone about your product, just as much as I go into a liquor store and I can choose vodka or whiskey or wine and different effects, because there's someone that wants or needs certain different things, Do I think everyone's smoking pot? Not necessarily. See, I talked to a few people because, like, at the candy shop, we're not just like cannabis. So we have the kratom, which is another plant, and I've talked to some people that take kratom in a sense, and they use it for different reasons as such, because of the medicinal use and how it reacts to them. And some of them look at the cannabis products that we do have and they laugh about it because they've used to smoke, or they tried to smoke, or they just know it's not for them. And and that's the respect of the plant, is it's not for everybody. There are people that shouldn't smoke in a sense, because it does cause more problems, as to a sense. There are different ways, and that with, like, for example, we're back to the fact of having a shop open. People that suffer from like lung disease and stuff like that. They think smoking is bad for like asthma, but smoking in itself is bad, of course. Any plant matter going into your lungs, any sort of like inhalation of smoke, inhale, is going to be bad for you. But it's just about, like, that's why those options are also better in a sense, because you can eat edibles, or you choose different forms to take it and that are healthier. Or when people do suffer from like smoking, they have lung disease, they can eat edibles to get the cannabis benefits without causing damage to their lungs that are already there. Some people, even like pulmonary doctors, recommend cannabis to like asthma users because it reduces inflammation in the lungs. But regardless of how it seems counterproductive, it does serve some sort of benefit. But I think that there are a lot more people that are using cannabis than people think. And because not everybody gives that vibe of, oh, hey, I smoke cannabis. And there are people that you would think smoke cannabis and never touched it. And that's how I was growing up. I didn't smoke cannabis until I was 18, my first time. But 16, 17, people always assumed that I was smoking or something like that, and just because of generally who I was. But honestly, smoking, I feel like the world would be a lot better if people knew about this plant a lot more versus the propaganda that's been put on it.
Our sins.
This way they kill ways over me. These within and still wait for seven. This illness feeds on me. Won't stop till nothing's standing. We crawl, sleep, wake, I pray for an ending. Down this lost of life, I can't reason. Oneness, innocent, You guys feel like singing? Whoa, whoa, your turn. Whoa, whoa. Thank you, internet people.
We are from Ashes Within. We started about 10 odd years ago. Of course, not every single member that is here was once in that specific band, but hell, dude.
We've kind of evolved along the way.
Yeah.
We went through a couple different singers, a couple different bass players.
Blind bass player.
Had one of those.
Old Blind Melon Jellin.
Yeah.
Old Joe Bonacari. Give a shout out to him.
Hi, Joel.
Hi, Joel. Hi, guy I've never met. Yeah, it started out with just me and Randy. We met on Facebook and jammed one day, and just it took off from there. We started writing music and just kind of never stopped. Oh yeah, we've got a really large community around us. A lot of really good musicians too. A lot of good
Absolutely.
people. A lot of very supporting musicians too. You'll see a lot of fans there, and you'll see a lot of other band members that are not particularly on the bill with us. You know, they're supporting as well. The metal community is it's growing, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Everybody shows up.
Absolutely. It always seems like it goes in waves.
Yeah.
Of course, like you can't. There's always an understanding, like like whenever somebody can't show up or whatever. But whenever a scene kind of like veers off for a second, it's always nice to watch it come back even stronger than what it once was. So I feel like that's what has happened recently.
Keeps that energy alive.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
That's kind of like it's not even a fickle pickle. It's real simple. We jam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody
And,
has a job to do, and we all just do it. We'll get in a room and we'll just jam. Really, there's really no structural process of it. Just what feels good.
Hey, that sounds good.
Pick and choose.
Do that again.
Yeah.
That sounds like
exactly.
shit. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
Did we record that? Fuck no. God.
Yeah.
Dude, you better remember that. I swear.
There's
It's like, hey, let's play exactly what we just played. And we're like, shit. What did we just play? I don't know, but it was really cool.
we
had a Tenacious D. We
Yeah. Shit was rough.
yeah.
We rock so hard.
Every member brings something to this band.
Special little aspect of it.
Yeah, because we all might not like the same style of music or whatever it may be, but like all of those things coming together is.
I like music.
I like music too.
I like making music.
I like
Music
you,
and
Bobby.
music accessories.
I told you not to call me that.
I'm sorry.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Y'all don't want to talk about my social media.
We're not going to talk about social media.
That's Dwayne Goff
Off the record.
on Facebook.com. He is in like a 45-day ban right now.
I stay on Facebook ban. I can never promote my band because I shitpost so much that I get zucked.
Always.
Just look
He's
for
there over
Sugar
me with a
Bitches
little
on
paddle just
OnlyFans.
Every time he could post, "Hey guys, you okay?" And like Zuck's just
zucked. You can't say that.
you can't ask them how they're doing anymore either. Nothing.
Yeah, we're on pretty much every social media you can think of. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Discord. Is there any more that we're on?
Tiki-talkie.
TikTok. Yeah, we have a TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Pretty cool. Not really cool, but just a little
pretty
cool. It's pretty cool.
It's okay.
Halfway cool, a little under halfway, but almost there to halfway cool.
It's slightly chilly.
We wouldn't even look that cool if it wasn't for Mr. Gene Broom and Spade Imagery.
Yeah.
What I do that?
Gene Broom with Spade Image.
Because he's
he
not
shoots
here
all
now.
of our pictures. Excellent pictures. Y'all give Gene a like and a follow.
My name is Matt. I own Massive Media. We are a booking, management, promotions, PR company. We started in 2021 working with a developing metal artist, Jason Adams with Arcos. And from there, we've snowballed into this monster that is now nationwide. And we have big plans. That's basically where we've been, and the future is being a full package tour with a tour bus and sound, providing literally everything, a whole entertainment show. We can show up, bring 4 bands, and put on a show. We look for bands that have drive and initiative. We don't want to work harder than our bands, so I will take a band that has 0 followers and use that to develop them into whatever they want. One of our business practices or our business philosophies is we want to make your goals happen. And if your goal is to win a Grammy, let's figure it out. Or if your goal is to play in the streets of New Orleans, let's figure it out. Whatever you want to do, whatever your goal is, let's work to it. It doesn't really matter what it is or where it is or who it's for. We'll make it happen. So the massive Pit Fest, shout out to Brent from the Sound 228, was a crazy event. Everyone had a ton of fun, even though it was like sub 30 degrees. People were playing nonstop from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., including the previous band from Ashes Within. Absolutely slayed it. In fact, really had one of the best sets outside of all the bands. So yeah, we for that particular show, we cast a wide net. We pulled locals. We had some regionals. We had some national touring bands come through, and it worked out. It was a huge success. Brent does those shows on a very shoestring budget, and they work. The metal community is unlike any other. Like Casey from With Ashes Within stated, it's super humbling to see everyone come together as a family, really, and that's what the metal scene is compared to other scenes. So doing another metal show is definitely in the works. Even something made into 24 with a boat, something that we can talk about later. And doing shows at other venues too. The Cannery is something we've done a show at. We've done a show at the Battlefield in Chalmette. We've done shows at Alabama Music Box. We've done shows, in Houston, Texas. So wherever, whenever, let's go. So we have a website, massivemediams.com. From there, you can get to any of our artists that we have posted so far. And on socials, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. There may be a Snapchat. I'm not sure. And it's usually massive_media_ms or massive media. A lot of our artists actually get some endorsements when they roll in with us. So I want to shout those guys out. Dirtbag Clothing, In-Tune Guitar Picks, Spade Imaging. Spade Image Gene is a monster behind the lens. Christina Osment with Osment Entertainment is some of the ones we're working on. Guitars and Picks is something that we're also working on. Scorpion Percussion. And whatever band wants, whatever endorsement, we're going to ask them. We had one actually yesterday, Liquid Death, and Pepsi said not no, but hell no. So, I'm okay with that. We reached out to Fireball. We're going to reach out to whoever for whatever. You guys are amazing. I appreciate everything you guys are doing, especially for the local scene. And this venue is amazing. All the artwork and stuff. So keep doing what you're doing. If you guys need anything from us, let us know. We will definitely do whatever we can for you guys for sure.
Follow on all his
Always
social
gives the
medias.
best shots.
If you
Oh,
see
yeah.
him in person,
He makes
run
me
up to
look
hug him
10
and kiss him.
pounds
He likes
lighter.
that type of attention.
He makes me look 10 pounds heavier.
And
He
6
makes him look
inches
2
taller.
inches taller.
Take it.
Um,
Tell me what I know.
would you
Trevor.
like us to actually go around introducing ourselves?
I mean, I thought we were done.
I mean, if you don't know who I am, you're
we
living
didn't
under
do
a
it.
rock.
We didn't do it before, so.
I mean, I really did not think we were done. Was that, are y'all ready for the interview?
We can have an interview. We can have an interview. Where we didn't even start yet.
We thought we were just talking.
Yeah.
No, we were not. I'm totally using all that shit.
Alright.
Shit. Awesome.
Y'all are Gucci, though.
Yeah.
All good.
So we're good. We're good to go.
Yeah, you're done.
So we can roll another. All right.
That'll be
on,
our
Randy?
comedy show.
Come on, Casey. Come on, Casey.
Yeah.
Come on, Casey. I'm hanging.
Ah,
Come
stole
on.
it. I fucking stole it. I did.
Yeah. Yeah. See, he's coming.
Okay, there we go.